Hi guys, my name is Julie Andree, and today I am presenting about how to give a good presentation. There are 5 areas I'm going to be talking about. First is preparation. Second will be organization. Third, audience rapport. 4, visual aids. And number 5 is delivery. So let's jump right on in with number 1. Number 1 is preparation. You want to know the purpose of your presentation. This is most important. It is vital. Just like a cover letter, you want to know who and what you're presenting on. You do not want to go in blindly. No person wants to drive blind, so why would you want to give a presentation blind? Secondly, within preparation is knowing your audience. Depending on who your audience is may depend on how you present, the form of how you present, how comfortable you are when you present, but just keep in mind to adapt to your audience. If you're speaking to a group of your peers, you may be more casual in how you present. But if you were presenting to a board of trustees, you would want to be as professional as you could be. So just keep in mind to know about your audience and the purpose of your presentation. That's about all for preparation. So secondly, we're going to talk about organization. In organization, you want to, first of all, capture the attention of your audience. This may look like telling a funny joke. My friend Patty always tells one at the beginning of every meeting we have with the club members. Second, you can tell a statistic, such as 2 out of every 3 women have breast cancer, something that really attracts and gains the attention of the audience members. You could even ask a question like, what are you guys doing for Christmas break? Just something that doesn't prove that you're monotone. You never want to be monotone. And then secondly, establish your credibility. At the beginning, you may have noticed I said my name is Julie Andree. I could have said more. I could have said I'm a senior here. I could have said I am executive treasurer, so on and so forth. If I was a doctor, I would want to prove that I had credibility. And then you're going to want to preview your main points. So such as I did. I said we have 5 areas that we're going to focus on, and then I went into them. So preview your main points. And then you want to organize the body. Discuss only a select number of the points. 2 to 4 is probably good enough. This is because if you're really passionate about what you're presenting on, you could discuss for hours, but you don't want to do that. Many times we're on a time limit. So just talk about 2 to 4 of your main points. And then you want to summarize in the conclusion. Review the main points, such as I did. Give the audience a takeaway. This is something kind of like a challenge. What is the audience members going to learn and be able to apply to their lives? And then never leave the podium abruptly. Never end with the last point and then leave. Say a statement such as, and this concludes today's presentation. Thank you. So that is it for organization. Now we're going on to number 3, building audience rapport. Much like I said, in organization and how you open up your presentation, you want to build a bond with the audience. It makes you feel more comfortable, it makes them more comfortable, and it just helps the flow of the presentation if you have a connection with the audience. One way you can do this is by using imagery. Do not be dry and monotone, as I have also already said. Analogies are a great way to do this. Anything that makes the audience think what you're thinking and envision what you're envisioning. Or you could tell personal stories, such as how I kind of mentioned Patty earlier, my friend Patty. Just use personal stories that kind of help the audience see you as a person and not as a boring, monotone speaker. Use verbal cues. So this is using words that direct the audience's attention, such as in the next segment, or let me review. thus far, we have discussed these things. Do not just abruptly, again, never abruptly transition. And then there are nonverbal messages, such as how you look. You want to make sure you look put together. And you also want to be enthusiastic. Speak freely, but clearly. Punctuate and articulate. Move around and be free, and use facial expressions. I hope I've demonstrated some of these things. So these are all great things that you can do to build audience rapport. Again, just never be boring. Thirdly, we have visual aids. Obviously, I don't have any visual aids with me today, but these always help emphasize and clarify the main points. They help increase audience interest and make the presentation more professional. Sorry guys, I don't have any visual aids today, but as you can see, I'm moving my hands around, so maybe you can count that. Fourthly, actually, is it fifth? Nope, it's fourth. Delivery. Do not feel you have to memorize the whole thing. Goodness, I cannot imagine memorizing something for memory. Just remember and memorize maybe significant or important points in the presentation. You may notice me glancing over. It's because I have keywords highlighted out, and so those are helping me move throughout the presentation. I am not doing this from memory. And then also don't read verbatim. I had thought about writing it all out and putting it up and reading it, but that would be boring and I wouldn't be able to properly communicate and interact with you guys. So learn to control your stage fright is another way of how to properly deliver your presentation. I have stage fright. Everybody has stage fright. We know that Professor Thorpe has stage fright. That's why he uses the marker. So just you find a way to relax before the presentation or cope throughout the presentation. I use my hands a lot. That's probably how I cope with stage fright. And then another way you can deliver effectively is by thoroughly preparing before the presentation. Just like in the first section, you want to know what you're talking about. So you want to prepare, and this comes with preparing. So rehearse yourself, time yourself, check the room the day before, kind of get a feel for how you'll be presenting and where you'll be presenting. These things all help with stage fright and just how effective you deliver your message. And then during the presentation, take a time to breathe and pause before you begin. And then present the first sentence from memory. That's a way to gain the audience's attention and so forth. Maintain eye contact. It's kind of hard in this situation because it's recorded, but maintain eye contact with your audience members. And if you're overwhelmed by the number of people in the room, maybe pick a friend or two that you know are in there that you can kind of just casually glance back and forth with. And then control your vocab and your voice. I don't know if you guys have noticed, I've said quite a bit. There it is again, but control the amount of ums, pauses, things like this. Maybe even sometimes when I'm nervous, my voice shakes. So try to control that as well. And then after the presentation, if you have any handouts, make sure you hand them out. Recap, always recap. And remember, leave with a takeaway. This concludes my presentation on how to give a presentation. Thank you.